Hello, everyone. Welcome to the original Next Level Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Mullis, a.k.a. Stinger LG. Hope everyone has had a great week and hitting the weekend strong. Speaking of which, my co-host, Sean Foster, has started his weekend a little early. He is not here with us tonight. He is out at a Auburn A-Day somewhere with the Auburn Tigers, and his girlfriend dragged him out to something college football. So he will not be with us tonight, but we'll see him back here next week. However, I have got some great guest co-hosts with me tonight. They are my good friends from ShortPause.com, the Short Pause podcast. Very, very good guys, Frankie Aller and Ben Holt. How you guys doing tonight, guys?
Pretty good.
Thanks for thanks for jumping in and helping out tonight. Frankie, you've been on before.
Mm-hmm.
This is yet another time you're bailing me out from doing a solo podcast. So it's good to have you guys on. The chat room is open, and looks like we got some people already in there. I've already got some viewers popping in. And so, if you are in the chat room and you want to talk about anything we are going through tonight, by all means, we got some good conversations that happen in there, and we'll try to bring in whatever we can into our discussion. If you are listening later on and not live, by all means, please use the comment section. We'd love to hear feedback. I'm not quite getting enough of it, to be honest. So tell us what you agree with. Tell us what you don't agree with. No fanboy comments or anything, but give us some good feedback and be part of the conversation with us. So, how was your guys' week? Everybody good?
Yeah, it was a long week, tiring, but
It was.
It's good. I'm glad it's the weekend.
Absolutely. Frankie, how you doing?
So I have two jobs, as you may or may not know.
I do not.
So I planned this last December. I have off my night job this week. I took off Tuesday for some game came out. I don't know.
Something. Yeah.
Some I don't know. Quanic. Who knows? Whatever.
I don't know.
Doesn't matter.
Broken game. I don't know.
Yeah, video games, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I haven't been working my night job all week. I finished more games this week than I have throughout the year probably.
Nice.
Yeah, sounds right. So.
I have that second job called 3 children. So
I hear that one doesn't pay well, so.
No, it doesn't, and it actually can drive you nuts. So this is why I don't get my all my gaming in until after 10 o'clock. So my backlog of games, as everybody knows, continues to grow and grow and grow. So it's also why, and I continue to apologize. I swear to God, I will download it. We will play Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2. I swear.
Slacker.
I know. Every time I want to play it, something comes out. This freaking Quantum Break game, crap like The Division, that sucks away all your time.
That's total garbage.
Battleborn demo, beta, all this stuff that just takes the place of sitting there and vegging out in front of the television.
I feel bad because initially I had a retail copy, and that's gone now, and I got a digital code, so I should have sent the disc to you, but I figured, why would you want a disc,
I don't do discs.
Exactly. Yeah,
I have one disc that sits in my PS4. It's the Uncharted collection.
Because it was free.
Because it was free. I've got to get that done before Uncharted 4 comes out.
How's that going?
Quantum Break came out this week.
Oh, yeah, okay. So. Yeah. Yep. That's like Uncharted, right?
Oh, yeah. That's exactly like it.
Yeah, you could just play Quantum Break and jump into Uncharted 4, and you're probably good to go.
The story is probably very close.
Yeah, I'm sure you passed him in time somewhere.
Bender, it's gonna be that kind of night, man.
Yeah.
What are you playing this week?
I've been playing some Quantum Break. I'm enjoying it so far. It's a really cool game. I like the time manipulation mechanics. I love games about superpowers and stuff. So, I've always been a big fan of the infamous games and stuff like that. So, Quantum Break is right up my alley. I'm really liking it so far. Still got a ways to go before I beat it. I think I just finished. I got halfway through Act 3 last night, and I've got pretty tired and had to go to bed. But I'm liking it so far. It's a good game.
Nice. So I've been trying to do this walkthrough because I to be honest, with that schedule and with all the stuff that we've been doing with the podcasting and stuff, I have slacked a bit on my other content. So I was like, I'm going to do a Quantum Break walkthrough. I didn't get to review it early like everyone else in the media universe because I'm not that good anymore. And so I was like, you know what? I'll do a walkthrough. And so I said, I'm still a good gamer. I'm going to play it on hard. So as you can see, if you look at our channel, only Act 1 is up right now because I have to edit out all the times I'm dying in Act 2. Whoever said that this game is easy, even on hard, I'm too old for you because I'm getting my ass kicked. But some of that, I mean, God, some of the game. So I have been saying for months now that there was something about Quantum Break. I'm glad you guys are playing it because it kind of goes into the very first thing we talk about. I've always said that there's something about this game that was going to make it special. A lot of that has to do for me that it's just Remedy, and we know, at least I know of their history of Max Payne and Alan Wake and so on. So I kind of knew right up front that what I was getting into. And I'm glad I was right because there's just something that just grabs you about this game that it's something that, and I've gotten into conversations with people on Twitter. Yes, I know the time manipulation thing has been done. I know, somebody brought up, well, it's, Prince of Persia did time. Yes, and Max Payne slowed down time. But nobody has actually taken time itself and used it as a weapon in a game where you can actually mesh real time and slowing down, or some of the stuff that you could do with the dashing around. You basically become Barry Allen. I mean, there's some great stuff in this game. Yes, and I'll drop a little DC reference for the only good DC stuff left in the universe, which is the TV shows.
Did is it Regime? He played Plants vs Zombies with us. He'd posted a video or he shared one of the clips from the game, and there was the part early on in the game where you have to first dash through the gate that you open. You have to run over and get through. That part, he dashed through it, and I guess there's a character who's like,
yes!
Oh, I didn't know you were an X-Man or something.
Yes! Yes, he sent me that video. I was cracking up. Oh my God! And in the chat room, Whitty says, you're supposed to leave hard for a second playthrough when you've got most or all the upgrades. I know, but I'm a glutton for punishment.
You really are.
And an idiot. So,
well,
I had something to prove.
Look, I finished that game on normal, and there were a lot of areas that I had a problem with, just because, I don't know. It gets overwhelming really quickly sometimes, so I don't envy you at all, especially when you get towards the end. You're going to have a fun time.
Well, so you've beaten it already, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Bender, you're still in Act 3.
Yes.
Are you playing it on normal?
I'm playing it on normal, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you guys this. Are you actually trying to find the collectibles as well as you've gone through?
I'm trying to find everything, yeah.
Good.
I'm reading all the little logs that I come across. That's the kind of guy I am. I try to collect everything and look at everything and explore.
I raise my plastic cup of soda to you because that's the way I have to play. I don't get this. Let me just blow through the story, and not do what the game is supposed to tell you to. You're supposed to do in the game.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of reminds me of all the people who are complaining because they think Quantum Break's still just another standard cover shooter, and you just want to reach through your Twitter and go, it's not supposed to be played like that.
Yeah, have fun playing it like that.
Right. The whole point of you having time powers is to use them.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't use them, you're gonna have a bad time.
Right. It's not going to be as fun. So yeah. So
Yeah.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and I know there are people out there who are probably skipping the TV episodes as well because they want to blaze through it, and that just makes me sad.
It does
Because
too.
that's the full experience of this game, and that's one of the most unique things about this game is that it incorporates that TV aspect with it, and I think that's awesome. I've really enjoyed those so far.
I agree. You've watched them all too, Frankie, right?
Yes. The other thing too with this game is like you guys, I went through and got as many of the collectibles as I could. Just they build the lore around the story so well, and then you have these episodes, and because the story is as interesting as it is, that TV show is actually really good. Like way better than I was expecting it to be.
Yeah, and just the fact that the game looks so good that the TV and the cutscenes look very close. I mean, it does. It melds it in together, and we can play through it a second time because you have junction points where you can. What you do gives you different episodes apparently, and then changes pieces of the game. So like, not to give too much away, but to get to Act 2, I chose the PR route with Serene. But from what I understand, if I choose the other junction point and I split the other way, I get a different TV episode, and apparently there's some different, like I think where Rajim sent that video out, he was on the other junction point.
Yeah.
I had a different character following me through my junction points, so I didn't get the same experience he did.
Oh yeah.
So
That makes sense.
And people are not talking about things like that. While we're arguing over the temporal reconstruction and BS like that, nobody, and even in some of the reviews that I read, I haven't seen a lot of people talk about the fact that unlike some other first single-player games, this one actually might have at least a little bit of replayability for you to go back and make different choices to try to get some of that different content. That to me adds something to it. So
yeah, definitely.
now, have you guys heard anything about DLC? I have not. Are they going to add anything to this game afterwards?
I haven't heard anything. I kind of hope that they do.
I don't know. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I would like to see some. I really would. So
Yeah, they have something cool in their hands. I really like Alan Wake. I want to see them continue Quantum Break.
yeah, I would love to see. Now, I'd like to see. So they got Quantum Break. I'd like to see them shift over to Alan Wake 2, get that out of the door, and then they can work on Quantum Break 2. And kind of, I mean, they've got an opportunity to kind of stretch out the franchises a little bit and not make it like a yearly thing, but they could really, and Remedy never do anything in a year, so we know that, but they could really stretch this out and do both franchises well. And you saw the tie-ins. Like, it's hard to talk about it. I don't want to give too much away for people because there are so many little Easter eggs, but the tie-ins for Alan Wake in this game are really cool to see too.
That was awesome.
Like, even out of the gate, I mean, most everybody who's got the game now, I'm assuming, has gone through at least Act 1, Part 1. So you know that there's an Alan Wake kind of trailer in there that one of the collectibles, and it's just so cool to see.
Yeah.
I like that, and I like that they're trying to. I'm hoping that that's a teaser, and I'm hoping Microsoft is smart enough to see that they want to do this, because they do. But Sam Lake talks about it all the time. He wants to make this game. They've got to let him make this game. You got to let him make Alan Wake 2 now.
It'd be dumb not to. I'd still. It was funny because I remember. At some point, they were talking about maybe remaking Alan Wake, and Microsoft was like, "All right, look, just slow down, just go finish Quantum Break, and then we'll talk." So hopefully, now that Quantum Break is out, whether they would do DLC, who knows? But I would really like them to go back to Alan Wake. I know they would too. And Alan Wake fans, even if you haven't played Alan Wake, you got it if you bought Quantum Break. Play it, please. Please.
Oh God, yes. And the add-ons are now free, so you can get those as well. And I got American Nightmare. I haven't played it yet because of backlog, but I finally got that. I have not gotten. I played and beat Alan Wake, but I'm waiting to get my backward compatibility code so I can then go and get the DLC and play that. But
I haven't got mine either. I got my American Nightmare code.
yeah, who was it who was telling me that the codes are coming out? One of my contacts at Microsoft said that the codes were coming out within 7 to 10 days of the game launch. So I would imagine that sometime next week we're going to get that. And for those of us who pre-ordered it on the Xbox One, we're going to get that Windows 10 code too.
Oh.
And I actually, it's part of what the title, was in the title this week. It's semi-mocking the big news on the PC side of this. There are reports that the PC version is kind of borked.
Yep.
And as much as some of this is obvious hyperbole, some of it probably has some validity to it. And I don't want to take away from anybody who's having some real significant issues with it, but I'm curious to see how the game will run on the couple of pieces of hardware I have, like my Surface tablet, my Office PC, which is a beast of a computer. I really now I'm so curious because I want to see what the hubbub is. Now, you guys I know are console gamers. Are either of you PC gamers as well?
Not really. I don't have a PC that can handle any games of any import. So mostly consoles for me.
All right, Frankie.
No, I just have this crappy laptop that it runs Roller Coaster Tycoon, so that's really all I need.
Well, my PC that we're doing the podcast on it's not horrible. It's an i5, but it's got I think I threw a NVIDIA card in there, which apparently NVIDIA is the kiss of death for DirectX 12, is from what I'm understanding. So what the bulk of the criticism coming in on the PC version is that somehow the Universal Windows platform is screwing all this up. So I've been out of PC gaming a very long time, so I can't admit that I know what modern PC gamers are doing. And while sometimes I kind of think they sound a little entitled, if they've got tools out there that they use to fix games with, which is what I'm hearing is the big problem, then more power to them. But it's hard for me to sympathize with them when they complain about not having a quit option on the menu when I can just take my little sturdy mouse and go up to the upper right corner and click the X button, and that kind of gets me out of every Windows app I've ever played with, including games. But then again, like I said, I've been out of PC gaming a long, long time. So I don't know. Digital Foundry, who I'm not the greatest fan of, wrote one of their analysis of the PC version, and they outlined some legitimate issues that I'm hearing about frame rate capping and things like that. That I'm assuming Microsoft has to know about, right? I mean, it was their port of the game to PC, so you'd think that they would know. Out of the three of us, I may be the only one who could play this game, so I can kind of understand. But it's almost sheer curiosity as to whether or not I really want to see how this thing works. So anybody in the chat room, if you guys have already played it on PC, if you have any feedback, by all means, let us know. But I kind of understand why all I got to go on is what is being bandied about on social media, which in and of itself is blown out of proportion 99% of the time anyway. So.
Yeah.
Always blown out of proportion. Social media is wonderful for that.
It really is.
God, I did that this week out of boredom.
Like,
Terrible
oh
idea.
my God. I can't believe everybody who had a functioning, reasonable kind of gland in their brain knew exactly what you were doing. Anybody who, I mean, you couldn't take that seriously. You really couldn't.
It's funny to me because it was a lot of people I've never spoken to ever who just decided to. Someone retweeted it, and then I just got all these. Yeah, well, your opinion doesn't matter. I'm like, what are you doing here?
Right? Why are you responding?
But I mean, my thing too is ultimately, and as stupid as it sounds, that draws out the people that I really would want to talk to, the people who actually love the game, that would want to sit there and talk about how cool it is, because those are the people who are going to jump up to defend the game.
Right.
I've come to a point where I can weed through the people who are there for the stupid console war nonsense, because people still do that, I guess. So.
Oh yeah.
Because you get a ton of those, but you ultimately, it brings up all the people who actually want to talk about that game. So I did get a couple people who were like, well, I'm liking it. Why don't you? And led to a couple new followers, a couple people that seem really cool. So
yeah.
As terrible as it is, it's still panned out pretty okay.
Yeah, it kind of did. And I mean, Bender gave us. He told us what he liked about it. I told what I liked about it. You've beaten it. What drew you mostly into that? I mean.
Well, much like you, I love Remedy. I think all of their games have a weird quirkiness to them that I really enjoy. It's a third-person shooter, which I love, but in the sense that it's actually a third-person shooter, it's also kind of really not, just in the way that you would think of a cover-based third-person shooter. If you try to play Quantum Break like that, you're not going to have fun.
No, you're gonna.
Yeah, like once I got my mind like, okay, I got to stop sitting around this one spot and trying to shoot people. And once you start really using your powers and trying to figure out how to chain everything together, you're like, okay, all right, I see what this game's going for. This is a lot of fun. So between that, the narrative that they built around it, the live action show sounded really cool to me. I know a lot of people don't like sitting through lengthy cutscenes, but if you're going to build out a good story, why not, right? So,
yeah, and narrative is what Remedy is known for.
Yeah.
If you look at their Northlight engine, it says right on the engine, Remedy storytelling engine. I mean, it's right there in plain text. So
yeah. So I mean that, and I mean when the Xbox One was being revealed, Sunset Overdrive and this were the two games that really sold me on buying an Xbox One. I didn't really care for Sunset Overdrive, but Quantum Break is really, like, I feel good about my purchase having played Quantum Break. I was like, this is the type of games I want to play.
So, what was wrong with Sunset?
I couldn't get into the gameplay, and I don't like tower defense, so cooking up the amps, I didn't enjoy doing that. On paper and watching videos of people playing that game, it looks like it's fun, but just for me actually playing it wasn't all that great.
Huh.
And I didn't like the main character. He's too, I don't know, douchey so far. I mean, I think I only played into I don't know, chapter 2 or something. So the last thing I remember doing was with a robotic dog that would go and blow people up, and it was cool, but
I want to say that his character is kind of the draw, because he is, I'm not gonna say he's douchey, but he is kind of a hipster. He's definitely. I'm too old to be that guy, but there was a I don't know, there was something quirky about him that I kind of liked. I liked it's interesting you said tower defense, because I never thought of it that way, and I'm not a big tower defense guy myself, but God, now I just say that. Now I think of it that way. But even at that, I mean, building it up, I think more building the powers up than building up the amps was more what I liked, especially once you got the dash. So
Yeah, that did make it a little better. I don't know. I'm gonna give it another chance at some point. I think just when I played it, my expectations for it were just too high.
I
You
can
know?
understand that. You
Yeah,
know what
'cause
we ought to do? We ought to try the Chaos Squad because I have not tried that.
that's the co-op stuff, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
I
yeah.
never did that, and we ought to try that.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be free at the end of the month next
That's
week, right?
true. Yeah. Oh, so you don't have it anymore?
I actually once they announced it was because I'm starting to go your route. I'm trimming down my physical collection,
Ah,
so once the Games with Gold version was announced, I traded my disc in. Same with Alan Wake because I have a digital copy coming, so
nice,
why
nice.
not?
Hey, no, I agree. I totally agree. No, Bender, did you play Sunset? I don't know. We're going back 2 years now.
I did not, but I guess this will be my chance since it's going to be free. But
All right, we're
no.
gonna bring you in too. We're gonna do some Chaos Squad.
Bender actually just got an Xbox not too long ago.
Really?
Yes, this is very recent, just a few weeks ago, actually.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I was always I've always been a Nintendo guy first, and then Sony second, and then I just now jumped into the Xbox world, so I'm liking it so far.
Cool. Very very cool. Man, now see, this is a week that Sean should not have missed because he is our resident Nintendo guy.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, when we were a website 15 years ago, 12 years ago, he was my Nintendo beat writer. So he lives and breathes Nintendo. And
Mhm.
man, he would have been excited to talk to you. So we'll have to have you back on closer to E3 when Nintendo gets their collective crap together and announces this
Yeah,
NX. So we can get some great. I'm dying to get some good Nintendo talk on here. So
definitely.
yeah. So I'm kind of like in the same boat as you, at least. Like I've always owned multiple consoles and stuff. I have not owned the Wii U, although I have a Wii. The PlayStation was fairly recent, for Uncharted, because I have to have Uncharted. And
Hmm.
the other nice thing, and this kind of segues into the next thing we can talk about, um, is that now I don't have to worry about who gets what beta first. Which is
Yeah.
always nice. I really abhor that. I think everybody knows how I feel now about betas. They're basically marketing demos. I think everybody reasonably understands that now. And in fact, the Battleborn dev, was it the Battleborn dev or the Overwatch dev? One of them basically said on PlayStation's blog, "Hey, we're bringing this out so you guys can get a look at the game and see if you like it and buy it." I'm like, thank you for telling the truth.
Yeah.
Overwatch.
Yeah, it was Overwatch. Thank you for telling the truth. Thank you for not just saying, "Oh, we're testing our servers and we want to test the load on our," Thanks for just saying the truth. The truth is, I want you to buy my game, so please buy my game and play it for free for this weekend. So that brings us to Battleborn, which you guys have played already, and
Hmm.
I have downloaded. And I just realized, Bender, you were in the closed beta.
Hmm. Yeah.
So was I, because once I kind of opened it up and looked at it, I'm like, oh yeah, now I remember this game.
Hmm.
So I did download the open beta, and I'm ready to roll with you guys if you want over the weekend.
Yes. Yeah, we do need a fifth guy.
I'm
Yeah.
in. I'm in. And what I'm hoping to do is, I did not see. Is there any NDA on this for streaming?
Nope. Open.
Nope.
Do whatever you want with it.
Excellent, man. We could do what we did with Plants vs Zombies and have that
Yes.
have that cross promotional stream,
Yes.
which
Mm.
now you can do because both the PS4 and the Xbox One both have party chat in Twitch stream. So
Mm.
we have the ability to do it on both sides. And so I like this is one of the things I like about being multi-platform is I can have both betas. It's great. I can now play
Mhm.
with you guys.
I
So
downloaded the Xbox One. We were talking with Ghost earlier, and he had mentioned that the preload was live on Xbox. I was like, well, thanks. I'm glad somebody tells me this stuff.
well, but it's
So I
not
got
not playable till the 13th.
right, but
So
I still got it ready, so I don't have to go throughout the week and then forget about it. And then by the time Friday hits, I'm like, oh yeah, there's a beta again. Just download that.
So yeah, I'm gonna grab that. And speaking of betas, later on, and I don't know. So Bender, have you owned an Xbox at all before?
No, I've never had an
No.
Xbox before. Never.
OG or oh my gosh.
Nope.
Okay. I don't know if it's open beta or not, but if it is, I'm gonna look it up while we're talking. You've got to try the Gears of War beta when it
Oh,
comes
okay.
out. Now it's kind of interesting because um, if you, I may also have to see what codes I have available, so you can see the glory that is Gears of War. That is a. Let me tell you, if you talk about one of those series, there are some game series that I hold in such high regard. Uncharted is one of them. Um, Gears of War is another. It's one of those things where Epic was just onto something, and Gears became just such a staple of the Xbox lineup that up until Judgment, which was a shell of all the other games, to be quite honest, they had such gold. I mean, between the storyline and you talk about that third person cover. That's really one of the first Xbox third person cover shooters that I played that I really was just I was so upset when it was over. And I wanted more so badly, and so I might have to see if I can get you, if I can find you a Gears, an original, because I have the Ultimate Edition, but Gears of War, all three of them, plus Judgment, which I'm not going to play.
All three of them in some other game.
And some other game. All three of them are backward compatible, at 360 backward compatible. So it would be a good time to get into that if your backlog isn't very heavy.
Backlog's always heavy.
Speaking of Gears of War, though, we got a release date this week, man.
Yes! October 11th.
Yes.
I cannot wait. And split screen in every game mode. Whether it's local multiplayer, whether it's local campaign. Yeah.
Nice.
So what they're doing is, I'm sorry, Frankie, go ahead.
I was just thinking, I was like, I gotta find a way to convince Jen to play that. It's not gonna be easy.
So there is an open beta. So the early access beta for those of us who bought and played the Gears of War Ultimate Edition is April 18th. So another April 18th something else. And that goes through the 24th. From April 25th to May 1st, it's open beta for anybody with an Xbox Live Gold. So that would be the time for you to get in, Bender. You got to try it.
I haven't played it recently, but if I've played it before, I'm in, right? I don't gotta do anything.
Did you play? You had to have played Gears of War Ultimate Edition at some point.
Which I did. Yes.
Then you should be in.
Cool. All right. It hasn't been recent, but I've gotten my face stomped in a couple times online.
All right, then you're in.
It's probably fun for somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and so this is one. Here I am talking about how betas are marketing. So Rod Ferguson did a Q&A with Game Informer, and somebody asked him about this, and he, how much of it is believable, I don't know. He said, "I just want everybody to know that what you are actually playing in this is not really a beta. It's an alpha of the multiplayer." He said, it is built for us to test load, which is why we're doing it in 2 stages, and it's not meant as a marketing beta. How much of that we believe, we'll find out if we see any major glitches and things. I've always maintained that the one true game that really was a beta for the purposes of testing was Fable Legends, because they didn't ever do an open. They never got to do it. when they were planning on the open, it was probably going to be very close to release date, but they had a closed beta that just went on and on and on and on, and didn't have like a window other than it did it during the weekends. And then after a while, they opened it up 24/7, and then they canceled it. So, take that for what it is. But at least you could see the progress that they were making from very glitchy, very tough at the beginning, through the builds that they were applying, and then letting the people get in and mess with and touch. What I've seen, and the reason I've always said that betas are marketing demos, is because if you saw like the Division beta, it was basically the first part of the game, exactly bit for bit the first part of the game, and so it was by my game. But we'll see if the Gears beta is like that. I'm hoping to get a bunch of people together for that, because Gears multiplayer can be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. So, maybe not so much if you're getting your head stomped in, Frankie.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I could see it being fun for the other team.
Well, we'll have to team up. We'll have to team up and take these people on.
But doing it by yourself, I'll be like crawling away from you, like, sorry, man, sorry.
Retreat. Push me out in front of everybody. Get him.
Yeah. I'm already dead.
Right. He's gone rogue. Speaking of which, I totally forgot. The incursions are coming. We're finally going to get some new content for the Division. Are you guys still playing it? Are you guys playing it?
I've played it some. It's honestly, most of the time that I've played it, there wasn't anyone else on. Like, none of the short pause crew was on to play with me, so I would be playing by myself, and I don't like that game, playing solo.
I can understand that.
It's not that fun for me. I'm not super versed in third-person cover space shooters, so I kind of suck at it. But it's a lot more fun for me when there's other people playing. So I haven't gotten too much. I'm only like level 9 or 10 or something in the game. So I don't think I'll be incursion ready when that time comes. So but it's a cool game though. I do see the appeal. I do like it though.
I played the heck out of it. When Quantum Break is over, I'll probably go back to it. I may go back to it like while I'm playing. When I get frustrated with Quantum Break, I'll switch over to play some Division.
Oh, that won't take long.
So you continue to warn me. And I'm assuming that you guys are playing it on PS4.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of, not really.
You're kind of not really the same way you're kind of not really playing Destiny?
Yeah, I think I'm like level 4. I don't even think I'm out of Brooklyn yet. Like, I still might be in the very beginning of the game, but I lent it. Someone borrowed it already, so. Which is fine with me. I was like, I can't. Nope, I ain't doing it. I ain't getting roped into another Destiny. I'm not doing it.
And here's the thing, though. I had no interest in Destiny. I played the beta, and then I was like, all right. I never played Destiny. I never bought Destiny. I never got enthralled in like the Taken King and any of that. And if the Division is supposed to be like Destiny, then I guess I've missed a hell of a game, because I'm really enjoying the Division. I think it's like you, Bender. I don't know that I can play it all the time single player, but I've kind of done some single runs just to kind of try to level up a little bit. It doesn't really work. I have come to find that the trick to leveling up is to get people who are level 30 to take you out with them.
You hide and have them kill everybody?
Yes. Everybody has a skull over their...
Oh, man. I know Amber played the Division for like a couple days, and she's back to Destiny. So.
No, not everybody. Some people are so hooked on Destiny that nothing will ever satiate their desire for anything else. So.
But I mean, if anything else could do it, it would be the Division. Like, That game is a lot of fun with friends. I played the
It
beta.
is.
I saw the appeal and I was excited about it, but I got nervous. I was like, I don't know, man.
No, and what I like is that when you're in, I wish that you could get a bigger group. I think I would like to have 6 instead of 4,
Hmm.
because there have been times when I've had some people go, why didn't you invite me into your group? Because I already got 4 people, and so I've missed the opportunity to play with some people that I really wanted to. Um,
Hmm.
Jeff Beard, I'm talking about you. Uh, and so he's like, why didn't you like me, Stinger? I'm like, well, because you're on level 30 and I'm on level 18, and I don't feel like dying every 5 seconds. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good reason.
I think it's sound logic.
Makes sense to
So,
me.
I do think it's funny that both games have sort of an update coming this month, and
Same day.
yeah. So it is kind of funny that way. So if we go through them both, and I guess since we have the last time I said something bad about Destiny, I got a really long comment in the comment section about how could I diss Destiny, and so I don't want to diss Destiny. So we can talk about real quick the update for both, if anybody's interested. On either side. If you're not a Destiny player but you're a Division player, if you're a Division player but not a Destiny player. So on the Division side, we're getting the incursions, and aren't they upping the party limit, the game limit to 8 people for incursions?
Hmm.
I don't know. I thought that they were. I remember reading somewhere that they were.
Huh.
But then I also heard that it was still just going to be 4 people, and it starts at like hard or impossible.
Oh, good.
So you have to like be maxed level to even do it on hard, which is the only way you can do it apparently. So I'm out.
I remember we were playing with Fame 2K, and he was like, I forgot what level he was on, and we were doing the napalm site, and I was the leader, and for whatever reason, because again I'm an idiot and a glutton for punishment, I said, stay this on hard, we'll level up quick. All of us are level like 12 and 13, and he's like level 20.
Oh no.
Yeah. Let's just say that after about a half hour of just spawn dead, spawn dead, spawn dead, somebody said, is there any way you'd like to try this again on normal? Otherwise, I'm going to bed. And so we ended up redoing the whole mission on normal, and we got through it. But it was just so funny. Like, you one hit down, and I'm dead, and I'm dead. And like somebody would come over and try to revive me, and down. And so it was just...
I remember Brent and I were recording footage for the Homefront beta, and
oh God,
like he was,
why?
I don't know,
'Cause you're
gluttons for
a glutton for
punishment. But he was the party leader, and I was watching him like set the stuff up, and he had he set it on hard. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm sure if it was any other game, we would stand a chance. But having already played this last week, I'm gonna go ahead and advise we don't do this. So even on normal, that game was just. Did you play that at all?
I did.
Instant regret?
Yeah, it was very brief. It was like, I think I played it for 20 minutes and then said, oh, my phone is going off. My Miitomo is going off. Oh,
Yes!
so, oh wait, somebody has invited me to a game on my PlayStation app.
You know what you can do now? You can appear offline.
Yes, we're going to talk about that, actually, after we had gotten through this. So, Somebody in the chat room said that they are not upping the group limit. I thought that I had read that they were, but I'm actually looking at the Division 1.1 notes, and that is not listed in here. Like, there's a lot of there are some new features they're doing. There's a new Falcon Lost Incursion. You must be level 30 and have completed the General Assembly mission to get it. But it says here, balanced for 4 players with high-level gear. There are new gear sets. Here's a nice thing that I think a lot of people have been asking for. Items dropped by enemies can be shared with other players. That's kind of nice. And now you can trade items by dropping them as loot from your inventory, so players can pick them up. So now you can actually drop loot for your other players. That's kind of cool.
Trading.
Yeah, trading. You can only share items for the first 2 hours after you've acquired them. That's interesting as well. By the way, speaking of items and stuff, have you guys found that crafting is worthless at this point? Like, even at level 18 where I'm at now, crafting does not give me anything worthwhile.
Yeah, I haven't tried crafting a whole lot in that game, but the couple of times I have, it's just been stuff that it's not much better than what I've already picked up from just in the game world. So I don't know if there's something later on that makes crafting more worthwhile, but so far, yeah, you're right. It's just nothing special so far.
Yeah, I've found the same thing. Like nothing. And so I've bought a couple of things that have been really good, but most of what and maybe it's because I'm playing with people that are higher level than me, like way higher level, I'm finding better things that I probably wouldn't or shouldn't find if I was with, my own group, I guess. Mm-hmm. So maybe some of that is the advantage of running around with a bunch of 20s and 25 level and 30 level people. I'm just getting better loot because they're getting better loot.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. Assignments are automatically attained when you log in. So there's this now thing called assignments. So they're available for a limited time. Daily assignments, 24 hours and 7 days for a weekly assignment, after which they will be replaced. Now, I thought that when you got to level 30, you got challenges, like daily challenges. I'm assuming that this is more of an all category, or like an all level thing. So you don't have to be level 30 to do these, if I'm reading this right.
Like a bounty board?
Kinda. Yeah, it says they're automatically obtained when you log in and can be tracked from the map. They're available for a limited time, after which they'll be replaced with different assignments. They come in 3 categories: combat, dark zone, and crafting. And it says most assignments can be completed while playing alone, but some will require enlisting other agents' assistance to complete. So it sounds like there's going to be a mix of single and multi. So new Dark Zone supply drops, gear score, group spectator camera lets players spectate members of the group while waiting to be revived. That's something that, it's odd that was missing. Now that I think about it, that you couldn't see everybody else, kind of like a kill cam.
Yeah. You mean like when you die, you could hit a directional button to watch somebody else's feed?
Yeah.
You couldn't do that?
No, and now that I think about it, you can't, because when you're down, you can still be revived until the respawn counter comes on. Maybe that's why. But it would be cool to see somebody running towards you to revive you.
Yeah, especially if you're trying to give them directions to you. If you ran off like an idiot, like I would do.
And so now you can do that. So now you have that. There's some new high-end named weapons, and apparently, if you kill somebody that's got a big name guy, they drop much better loot now. Turrets can no longer suppress enemy NPCs, as this allowed named NPCs to be defeated too easily. Okay. Phoenix
Sounds like they're
credits.
doing their job.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point of a turret is to suppress the enemy so you could flank them and kill them. There's increased crafting costs. There's much better stuff in the dark zone. I mean, it's basically some of this stuff, and then they go into a bunch of bug fixes. I don't think we need to go into all the bug fixes, but it does sound like the assignments, the daily assignments, sound like something that I kind of thought that they would need to do if they were going to keep people's interest in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad to see that.
Mhm.
And then on the Bungie side, so for Destiny's big April update. Now, if you are on PlayStation 4, as you know, you are getting some specific stuff as always, some weaponry and whatnot. And there are new challenges coming out. New challenges demand that you become even more powerful. Difficulty and rewards have been increased in Prison of Elders, Court of Oryx, Heroic Strikes, Nightfall Strikes, and in the King's Fall Raid, as well as Iron Banner and Trials of Osiris. For the first time, face the Taken and 8 updated bosses in a level 41 version of Prison of Elders. Claim an Elder Sigil from... like I can read this. It's like a Dungeons and Dragons book. Sigil from Varicus. Varix. Thank you. You guys, anybody else
I feel bad. Go ahead, send me the link. I'll read all this.
Yeah. Here, let me just send you the link. You can do this because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
I remember the bulk of the update was they were updating the Winter's Run strike, so now that boss fight's a Taken version.
Here, I'll do you one better. Here we go.
Ooh, oh yeah, fancy technology here.
Yeah, screen share.
Yes.
So we have the Sigil of Varicus.
Oh boy.
We have a new quest in the, I'm going to assume that says Blighted Chalice Strike.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you were just talking about the Winter's Run. We actually have a place called Winter's Run here in Maryland. Just
So it's like a city, or is that like
No, it's just there's a golf course. Winter's Run.
Of course it is. People love playing golf in the winter.
Yeah, new rewards, new loot and infusion. You can now customize in Chroma. New gear. Sterling Treasure. An updated faction and Prison of Elders.
Oh yeah, they brought up a bunch of other gear.
Yeah.
All the Prison of Elders guns are coming up, so
Yeah.
Lord of Wolves, my favorite shotgun.
It's got to be one of these.
Yep, bottom left corner.
Bottom left is up. No, not that one.
Yeah,
Right
that
here.
little guy there. Yep.
Nice. All right, so some new stuff, some new Eververse items.
Hot new dance moves.
Hot new dance moves. Updates to the Warlock class. Higher Light, Iron Banner, and Trials of Osiris gear. And some other updates. Increased vault space. I have actually heard that complaint.
It's a constant complaint.
So they are increasing the vault space.
Again.
Again.
Yeah, again.
So,
Seems like every big update comes with a vault upgrade, so...
yeah.
But I mean, at some point you have to really sit down and think about your Destiny stuff. Like, am I really going to need this when year 3 starts? Probably not.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're doing some weapon tuning.
Yeah, I didn't read through all these yet, but...
Yeah.
like,
And we won't subject our listeners to that. They can read it on their own.
yeah, I know coming into year 2, the 2.0 one was just beefy. I think we discussed like all the weapons on our podcast, and it was like easily like an hour and a half of talking about Destiny weapon changes.
Yeah. Maddie Monk says Destiny updates equals beating a dead horse.
Basically.
Oh man. But by the way, thank you all in the chat room. It looks like I never get a chance to actually sit there and type into it like everybody else does. Like I know you guys are all in there right now, but I love watching it because it's actual game talk, and I enjoy watching them actually discuss what we're discussing.
So forgive me for my ignorance and lack of keeping up with things. Have you talked about this PlayStation 4.5 that you're talking about?
So we have, and we can, because actually, um, somebody has had something to say about it, and it kind of brings up a good point that people haven't talked about. So, BioWare's founder, Greg Zischuk, I don't know how I'm horrible with names. I'm lucky I can pronounce my own name. He
We know a guy like that.
So he was interviewed by GameSpot, another great publication I love so much. Um, so he was asked about the aspect of an Xbox One or a Xbox 1.5 or a PS 4.5, and he actually said that would be a gigantic, quote, pain in the ass that flies in the face of the purpose of consoles. He says it's funny, there's actually some stories behind that. For example, the original Xbox, Microsoft actually had multiple different DVD drives. They didn't tell everyone that, but as a developer, you discovered that you have different performance, and sometimes you'd have these boxes of refurbished drives and different brands and different equipment, and it caused incredible variability. So he goes on to talk about how locked specs and things like that are good because it gives a clear indication to developers what they have to work with. So what do you guys make of that? And it's good to have you guys on because I haven't, we've talked about it, but I'd love to get your opinions on where this is. So, Frankie, since you brought it up, take it away, my brother.
Actually, that's been one of my main complaints with it is, you're essentially bringing out another box with a different, even if there's still fixed specs, you still have two of the same console that have two different versions with two different specs to work around. I don't, how many of these developers are really going to take the time when they're trying to push a game out? Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed. You have to pump these games out yearly. I mean, obviously not Assassin's Creed this year, but
Not anymore, right?
Yeah, but you're not going to take the time to optimize these games for these two different SKUs for one console because what's the point? At some point, you're just going to have to prioritize one over the other. It's like looking at the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Xbox 360, Call of Duty. As you go forward, you have to put your focus on one of them, on one of these groups of games. So you're going to push the latest gen version of the game. Eventually, like we have with Call of Duty this year, the last gen versions are going to start to get gimped and eventually phased out. So I think if you come to a point now where you have these two boxes that have another box as well that's essentially the same exact thing that can have more pixels and maintain a good frame rate, I don't really see a point right now. Like these consoles just came out. They're still fairly new. We still haven't really hit the stride of this gen yet, in my opinion. So my other theory is that this whole thing is just a giant April Fool's prank, but they're just letting people run with it. Because how many times have you ever had anything from GDC come from people talking in lines for things like, "Oh, hey, did you hear about this?" Who does that? Right. Seriously,
the unnamed source.
Like I could just see this whole thing of coming like from some guy somewhere like, "Hey, there's a guy from Kotaku, let's mess with him," and they just very loudly like, "Hey, yes, what do you think about that 4.5, huh?" I don't know. I just hope that the whole thing ends up being a joke because I don't want to do, like he said, that's why I do consoles. I don't want to deal with upgrades. I have a box. It has fixed specs. I don't have to worry, if I buy this game, is it going to run on this console because, I don't have the new video card for this and that. I don't want to worry about that stuff, ever.
Well, Bender, get in here and I'll give you mine because I've kind of talked about this the last couple of weeks. So I want to get some other opinions. So, what say you, sir?
I kind of go back and forth. I see Frankie's side of the thing of the issue. It takes sometimes it takes a few years before they can really push a console to its maximum potential. Developers take a while before they really know what a console can actually do. But on the other hand, I like new things and better things, and if they came out with a better box, I would probably end up buying it and to have the best possible experience, especially since they're gonna it could have a better VR experience, like if I get into VR, which I'm still on the fence on as well. But so it's one of those things, one of those issues I kind of go back and forth on. I like it, but I see that the downsides to it as well.
I think that where it's funny because I have a lot of what you guys are saying, plus I have. I, I think we're at a point now where we've gotten to all the manufacturers, including if the rumors are true about anything with Nintendo, that everybody has settled on the x86, PC platform for consoles. Like we don't. I think one of the main differences between this generation and going forward, and where past generations were going forward, is that it seems like every time a new console came out, they had to radically change what the infrastructure of that console was. So, for example, with the Xbox started out actually as a Pentium 3 PC off the shelf, pretty much a PC in a box. Did not have, of course, Windows 10 or anything, or a Windows operating system like Windows 10 is doing now, but it was basically that.
Didn't the Dreamcast have like Windows CE on it?
It did. It actually was. And it was funny because the import version, because I got both of them, the import version says designed with Windows CE, and the US version says compatible with Windows CE, because they were kind of, Microsoft was sort of moving in a direction at that time of looking at making their own box, and so they didn't want to, upset Sega, so they kept that on the box. It didn't really. I mean, yeah, it was kind of Windows-ish, but not really. But where we've gotten here is, we went from the OG Xbox, which was literally an Intel Pentium 3 processor, to the Xbox 360, which totally changed the infrastructure to power PC, which I don't even know. I still, to this day, don't know what that is. I'm an IT guy, but I don't know what that was. I don't know what whether it wasn't Linux, it wasn't Windows, I don't know what the hell it ran. And then we come to PC hardware, which is what basically these consoles are now. Same thing happened between PlayStations. The PlayStation 1 and 2 went through different infrastructure or different internal parts. The PlayStation 3 was cell processor, we knew that. And now the PS4, like the Xbox One, is basically a PC with PC hardware in it. So I think as we move forward from here, everything is going to continue to have PC-based hardware in it. To your point, Bender, and to Frankie's, which I totally understand, they're going to have to figure out how to make games for two different platforms, not necessarily architecture-wise, but right now on a PC you've got sliders, you can do different resolutions, stuff like that. They're going to have to figure that out. And what happens? You said something specifically, Bender, that I agree with, and I talked about it last week too, that it's going to be better for VR. So what are you telling the folks now who have a current PlayStation 4 who are getting ready to invest in PSVR, that your console's not good enough to run it? I don't have a problem with the actual consoles themselves. I think if you said too, if there's a better box, I'm going to buy the better box. That's just the way you are. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think if people want to buy a PS4.5 or whatever they call it, 4K, more power to them. People want to buy another Xbox One 0.5 or whatever, more power to them. But doing it now, when you're literally 3 years into your generation, I said this before and I'll say it again. What are you telling the current crop of console owners now? That your console that you just bought, that's still selling like wildfire, isn't good enough. So here's a better console. Buy this because the games we'll be able to do 4K, and maybe we'll be able to do 60 frames per second on 1080p all the time, where this console can't do it. I mean, what are you telling your fan? What what are you telling your current install base?
Right, the people who have been there from the beginning and got you to where you are. Yeah, that's a good point.
So, as long as the games are forward and backward compatible, I don't think it's as big a deal. As long as Quantum Break 2, if it came out in 2 years, and I could still play it on my Xbox One, and it looks like this, and if somebody buys a Xbox 1.5 or whatever, and I don't know, it outputs in 4K and maybe has a little bit better frame rate, that doesn't do it for me necessarily. It doesn't make me want to run out and upgrade my hardware or say, well, I'm done, I'm moving to PC. I just think doing it now is a mistake. I think this is the wrong time.
My thing with it, because as I've come around on the idea of it, I do see it being more for VR. VR with frame rate has to be like consistent. You can't have frame rate dips with VR because people will get sick. So I think if this PS 4.5 or whatever they want to call it ends up being kind of like a box that you're going to want to get if you want to get into VR, I mean, you're ultimately still, if you're still comparing headsets, yes, buying another $400 console in theory, you'd have to do that along with the headset, but you're still ultimately spending less, I guess, if you're going to be breaking it down by costs and whatnot. But that's really the only thing I would see a use for it for me personally. If I ever do decide to buy into VR, I'd probably go with a PlayStation VR because I don't want to drop money on a beefy PC because it just sounds like a headache. But, I mean, I don't know.
No, I totally understand, and I wouldn't move to PC myself. I've been down that road. It's one of the reasons I find the current crop of PC gamers so interesting is that they talk about multi-GPUs and how well they can do SLI and all that. I mean, when I was in college, I had my rig had dual 3DFX Monster Voodoo 2 cards in them. I was already doing that multi-GPU stuff before any of these guys were old enough to pick up a mouse. I carried around a 19-inch CRT monitor in a big giant bag on my shoulder, and I used to take it over to my friend's house. We used to LAN game Quake and Doom and Duke Nukem like all weekend long. So I've been around the PC block. I don't have the desire, the money, or at this point apparently the wherewithal. I apparently am too old for this now to understand all the nuances of what PC gamers have to go through to keep their rigs up to date. And there is a, to get to what that guy was saying, there is something about taking a console out of the box, putting it on your shelf, plugging it in, and go. Not having to worry about an OS, not having to worry about installing drivers, not having to worry about whether or not this game's going to work great with AMD, whereas this game's going to work with NVIDIA, and so you don't have whatever is going on with Quantum Break on the PC, which I don't know yet until I try it myself, or what happened with Arkham Knight, which I understand was just a
train wreck
of epic proportions.
Oh man!
And yet, people that were playing it on console had no problems. So I can understand. I get that a lot of people PC game because they can do more powerful hardware and that kind of thing. But I'm just not that guy. Not anymore. I haven't been for a long time. So, but I wouldn't stop anybody from wanting to upgrade their console if they wanted to. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing if there's a market for it. I wouldn't do it now. I think and I think that's why Phil Spencer came out and said, I'm not a big fan of this. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it big. I think he understands he could split the install base as well. And I don't think anybody wants to do that.
The other problem that I see with this is you really risk running into another thing with the Wii U, where it came out and you had people who just assumed it was an add-on for the Wii.
Right.
Like now, what the hell's the difference between a PS4 and a 4K? Is that just a new model? Like, the general public's not really going to understand the point of it.
Hmm. Yeah, true.
Yeah. No, I totally understand that. The question is is there a market for it? I think it again. If they announce it this year, it's going to be an issue. I think if they go another 2 years and now you're 5 years into the generation, which used to be a generation, and you start to kind of renormalize, I think you would start to see more of a standard generational move at that point. In IT, in my profession, my day profession, for us, what we consider the lifespan of a PC is 5 years. When we sell a client a server, we spec it out for a 5-year plan. And then in 5 years, when all the warranties are up and the company is no longer supporting that device because it's at their end of life, then we talk to them about a new device. This thing where we've gotten into these, I think last generation when Microsoft and Sony talked about a 10-year gen, I don't think they actually wanted it. I just think they wanted to use that as a talking point for selling their console. And then all of a sudden, the Xbox 360 is actually lasting 10 years. And I don't think anybody wants that anymore. I think they want to keep up with PC without sounding like they're being a PC. And so I think you're going to start getting back to a regular 5 to maybe 6 year gen. You guys agree?
Yeah, it's something we've talked about on our podcast as well, about how the technology moves so fast that we probably won't be seeing these 10-year cycles anymore going forward, because it's just, things are progressing too fast. So I imagine the console cycles would be shorter from now on.
Yeah, for me, it just begs the question of, if you do start getting, going down this path of upgrading, like where do you like move on to the next PlayStation, to the next Xbox? Like, at what point is upgrading this console, okay, well, this is good for this gen, let's put out a brand new numbered box? Like, where do you draw that line then? This is all uncharted territory for console gamers. So this is, I don't want it to happen.
Well, here's another question though, and this is something that's been bandied about. It was that started out really in speculation. Do either of these consoles have upgradable parts the next cycle? Not like, I'm not talking about like adding a Nintendo 64 memory card or something like that. I'm talking about I see Pender smiling.
Expansion pack.
You know exactly what I'm talking about, don't you?
Yeah.
These consoles, you can't crack it open and add memory to it. You can't crack it open the PS4 you can add a bigger hard drive to, and the Xbox One you can add an external drive to, but you can't add memory. You can't change out the CPU. You can't do any of that stuff. You can't put a new motherboard in it. Do you see these next set of consoles being upgradable?
I have a question, actually. Do you familiar with any of those like Steam boxes?
I vaguely remember the Steam box.
Yeah, are those upgradable?
That's a good question.
Because like, I know GameStop has one that's like $650, and I was like, I don't.
Are they actually on sale? I mean, can you actually buy a Steam box?
Yeah.
Has anybody bought a Steam box?
Not that I know.
That's the quietest launch of a piece of equipment I've ever heard of.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know enough about them, but I thought the point of them was you could upgrade the components if you want to. So I assume in building like maybe a 0.5 console, if they put another one out, that they would do something like that, where the whole point of it is to be upgraded. You would want to build a box, obviously, that would allow that. That'd be scary, man. You get all these people doing that who have no idea what they're doing.
Well, that's the other piece of it. Is you have kids cracking open their consoles.
Is this the RAM stick? And it's like the heat sink.
Well, and I always joke about how old I am and how the things I've seen, and this is not the first time this has been talked about. Even back in the, you know, even back in the days of, I'm trying to find it, pictures of this. In the old days, there was, and I can't remember if you and I had talked about it before. Frankie, have either of you guys heard of the Phantom console?
That was a Nintendo thing, right?
No. This was a console that was going to be built by, I think, Infinium Labs, and I'm going to show it to you because I still have pictures of it from the one E3 that they showed it off at,
Hmm.
and it actually was. Let's see. Please don't crash my machine. Oh, these are small pictures. I had some actual photos of it. Oh, here we go. Might be small, though. This was one of those things where it was going to stream games across to the box, and then you'd be able to play it. And when they demoed it, they were demoing Unreal Championship, or Unreal Tournament, rather. And when it was time to upgrade, because it had PC parts in it, they would actually, you would buy the subscription, the Phantom subscription, and then they would send you a replacement box when upgrades were happening.
Yeah,
So
that's why people keep talking about a subscription model with this kind of stuff. That makes sense now.
yeah, you could actually. That's something that might work. Maybe.
Yeah.
Would you go for something like that?
I wouldn't. That just doesn't really. I don't know. I get excited when there's brand new consoles coming out, like the next console. But like, hey, this is your current console. It has better parts in it. Okay, I'm good.
I'll tell you why. I think if any of them would do it, could be Microsoft, and that is of all the things. I just thought of it, like just now. If you think about what they do with Office 365, now Office 365 is their Microsoft Exchange email component that they sell to, they sell it to individuals and they sell it to companies. In my full-time job, we are moving people to Office 365 all the time. It's basically X amount of dollars a month. You pay Microsoft to host your email. Well, they have a plan for, it's like $10 a month. And for that $10 a month, not only do they offer you, email, but they actually will provide you a full copy of Microsoft Office. And as long as you're paying the subscription, whenever there's a new version of Office out, you get it for free. A lot of companies actually have gone to this model of subscription-based software. Adobe does it with Adobe Acrobat. For a long time, if those of you who have a PC that know anything about antivirus, when you paid $60, $70 a month for Norton antivirus, you could get all the free upgrades and updates and stuff like that. The question would be is, could something like that work in a console space where you could be supplied with the hardware as long as you're paying Microsoft X amount a month?
I might be into something like that. I'm not sure.
Maybe something to chew on.
Yeah.
Because I actually, I have EA Access, which also, by the way, Frankie, means eventually 4 or 5 months down the road, I'm going to be able to play Plants vs. Zombies with you anyway.
Yeah, and they add it to the vault.
Going to add it to the vault. But if you think about it, I pay $30 a year, and eventually I get to play all the EA games. It comes late, of course, but I mean they just added NHL 16, and I think FIFA 16 is getting added shortly. So eventually, for my subscription, I get their games. It would be interesting to see if that would work on a console level. But then again, consoles also don't come out like that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
There would have to be something else to the subscription.
Well, if they incorporated it into like PlayStation Plus or something like that, where
Right.
you're getting the games every month like normal, but then they throw in, okay, hey, you also get the new box every couple years or whatever it is, then that could be interesting.
Yeah, like a PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live Premium, where instead of it being $60 a month, $50 a month, it's $100 a month, but you get the hardware.
Mm-hmm.
Oof, that's something to think about.
PlayStation Plus Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So definitely something to bandy about in the chat room there, and of course, again, something to bandy about down in the comment section if you guys are keeping track. So that actually can bring us to one of the other things that I wanted to do tonight. If you guys are cool with it, I wanted to just do. I've done this with the Xbox, and since I now can, we now have this wonderful new feature with the PlayStation 4. I can show off the firmware update that just came out. Yes. So I'm going to. Now let's see if this works well. This will be interesting. This is the first time I've tried to do this. I should be able to. Let's do a screen capture. And give me just a second here. We're going to. Cool. Experimental work on the NLG podcast. All right.
Technology is wonderful.
It is. I see my desktop.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Cool.
So I'm going to turn off my thing there. All right. That's the. I guess this is the Windows screenshot of the day. I don't know what that. It's somebody swimming. That's awesome. Okay, so I'm going to actually fire this up from scratch. So one of the new things in the PlayStation 4 update is remote play. Now, most people already know remote play from being able to do it on the PS Vita, but the 3.5 firmware has now allow you to play remote play on your PC. And for the purposes of this demo, we're going to use the same PC that I'm using to podcast with because it is wired. My PS4 is actually on wireless. Even though they say you should do a wired connection, on the same equipment that I've been streaming Xbox stuff on through the Windows 10 app, I've had zero.
Breaking all the rules.
I know. I have had zero issue with the PS4 remote play.
Shouldn't have said it.
I know. Well, but to be honest, and I use the same. So I use the same equipment. I used this computer. I used, and there we go. I used the my Surface Pro tablet, and I used a computer upstairs, which is a little bit junkier. And then I actually, what you can do with the PS4 that you cannot do with the Xbox One is I took my DS4 controller to work and played some PS4 on my nice 40-inch TV in my office. Yeah. So I'm going to go over the different firmware stuff that's out. But one of the nice things about the remote play is now, just to give you a quick idea, and this isn't going to look great because it is still streaming across the Hangout, but the latency on this is almost nothing. And what was really neat was the latency was very low, even streaming across the internet. Now, we're going to do, I've put together a video, and it's almost done. I have to record my front end and back end of my lovely face But I wanted to show Amplitude only because this is sort of it's not a Twitch game, of course, like a first-person shooter, but it does require some timing. So I wanted people to see that timing is not an issue with the streaming. Now, obviously, there's a difference in the quality in that you can only stream up to 720p. However, you can do 30 frames or 60 frames depending on what your video card is, depending on what your connection is. And to be quite honest, on the stuff that I've done that works well with the Xbox, I've done 720p 60 frames with the PS4 and have no problems. So I want to actually get to, here we go. So I'm not streaming any audio because I don't want it to interrupt what we're doing. But actually, that doesn't look bad streaming across the Hangout, to be quite honest. But you can see except for the fact that I missed one, but not having any trouble with, there's really not a big discernible input lag that I found. And, I mean, stream quality is fantastic. And it streams the audio, even though I'm not doing it in this demo. Streaming the audio works flawlessly, just as it does on the Xbox side. And the other thing that this does that Microsoft did not do, and I understand why, it's not a knock on Microsoft in any way, shape, or form. While the Xbox streaming is only done through the Windows 10 app, this is something that can be installed on a Windows 8 or 8.1 computer or a Mac, and that's a little different. The only thing you cannot install this on for the PS4 remote play is it does not support Windows 7.
Womp womp.
Yeah, I know. But you know what? Upgrade, for goodness sakes. Just get it done.
Not doing it.
Yeah, I know. So I downloaded the Battleborn open beta for you guys.
Battleborn.
I'm ready to go. I'm ready to rock and roll. Unravel looked really good, even remote playing. And then, of course, I was demoing, and will demo as part of the video that's going to go out this weekend, the Uncharted stuff, because that is 60 frames per second, and I wanted people to see how smooth it was. It really, honestly is, and even streamed across the internet, it really was very smooth. I can't lie, I was very impressed, and it's something that, to be quite honest, I think Microsoft needs to get on the ball with. Because as much as I appreciate the local, and I really do, I love having the local play. I wouldn't mind a little Quantum Break at work when I don't have to do it on the PC.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. So, have you guys messed around with the 3.5 firmware update yet?
I'm messing around with it right now.
Awesome.
Look at your friends list. Look at the 5. Look at the 5. Watch.
Okay. Oh, we're getting a live demo here. Here we go.
Watch us. Boom.
Boom.
Online.
Online.
Offline.
Offline. So that is one of the new features, and I'm going to go to my friends list here, and I think I do it from here. All friends. And options. Nope, not there. Where do I do it? I just had it.
Go to your profile.
Profile, thank you. You are the man. All right, so from here, we have this lovely new thing that says online status. Online? Up here, offline. However, note the following. So, within a game, you might appear online to other players. You sign in to a PS3 or something else, you'll appear online. So, I am now also offline. Got the little X above my name. By the way, kudos to them for the little lemming avatar. So, I also want to say the picture there are my two older sons, and this was really funny. Just quick anecdote: we hid from my parents as long as we could that we were having a third child. Now, our third child was not planned, so we were hiding it from ourselves as well. But one night we were going to dinner at my parents' house. We were going to tell them, but we didn't know how. So we bought we bought the two shirts that you see in that picture. My middle child, Seth, there, the shirt actually says upgrading to Big Brother status to complete August 2014. It took my parents halfway through dinner for my mother to finally go, Seth, stand up so I can see your shirt. And she said, what does that mean? And it finally clicked. So it was a funny moment. Ah, I have received a real name request from this dude Viper Strike. Oh,
Sounds sketchy.
I know. I don't know if I want to. Doesn't he know I'm offline? Oh, and look.
Oh, man, look at that.
Look, I'm popular here. So, I love doing live demos. Here we go. And I had a party invitation from John from Super Performance Gamescast.
He is hilarious.
John, yes. John is good people.
You have to read the message.
Oh, shoot. Oh,
darn
it. Can I
Darn.
go back?
Forever lost.
No! You gotta warn me first.
I changed my name to Jack Joyce in the invite.
Oh, nice. All right, so in notifications, one of the things that they did say is that you have a friend that joined a party. So if you want to see what parties your friends are in, you can do that to find out whether or not you want to get in on this as well. So that's something new that they added, which is kind of nice. The other thing, and I'm going to go back to the profile because this was a highly desired feature. Options, please. Can I hit my options? Why can't I hit my options? I'm online. I'm supposed to be able to hit my options. It worked earlier. Hang on. Go back to profile.
Which one are you trying to do?
I am trying to... Oh, duh. Sorry. All right, my friends. And I'm going to pick... Oh, where are you all? Be nice to... Here we go. And I want to have Frankie tell me when you are online.
Oh, cool.
So now I can go in, and it's neat because you can do it by person.
Yes.
So now I'm going to notify me when online. And so you can do that.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. Friend is now online. So another thing that they added to this firmware, which actually is kind of a cool thing. I think once people actually start using this, I like the allure of it. So in events, you can actually now create your own event. So the whole idea behind this is to not just create an event for everybody to see, but you can also set the game, set the number of players who can join in the game, and then you can actually invite people to this event. When you invite them to the event, they can actually auto jump into the party when the event starts. So like if the three of us are online and one of you sets up an invite for the open beta, for the Battleborn beta, and you invite, if Bender sets it up and you invite Frankie and me, if we're online at the time that event starts, we're automatically going to jump into your party. That's pretty
awesome.
That's pretty damn cool. To be quite honest.
That's cool.
So that's kind of nice. And then of course, and I have to find it. Admittedly, I'm still making my way around a lot of this because I am, a lot of this is a little bit more intuitive than the PS3, and so I'm still making my way around it. But you should be able to also allow all members of your party, if we're in a party, to see what each person is playing, so you can join a friend's game. Now, look, this is all stuff that is catch-up work, but it's good stuff, and I think this just it helps. Another small thing too, by the way, is in the share. When you are streaming, I'll do it. Let me crack Amplitude back open again, and hit the share button here. So when you broadcast gameplay, you can now, as an additional, I can't while I'm using remote play, as an additional place that you can now broadcast, you can now broadcast to Daily Motion.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I don't know anybody who uses Daily Motion, but I mean I know of Daily Motion, but so that's been added in there as well. So that is the quick and dirty rundown on the PS4 3.5 system update. And as you can see, I'm not using the great thing is I'm not using an Elgato. I'm not doing any of that stuff. I am simply, as you saw, I simply connected to the remote play, and this actually works really well. I'm gonna try on another stream to do the Windows 10 app in the same way, because the way I was doing it before was just doing a screen share, and it was really choppy. This actually works really well, and I just wanted to get to a little bit of the. I showed it to Frankie before we got started, just a little bit of the Uncharted that I was working on, that I'm trying to make my way through still, just to show you that, again, even when you're using a wireless PS4, which mine is, and this same thing with my wireless Surface Pro, I did not find any real discernible lag, and I think that's a great testament to their hard work on this. But as you can see, I'm not having really any problems with input lag. I suck at this stage, but I'm about to run out of ammo. But as you can see, not having any real problems. So hopefully everybody else enjoys this as well. I know I'm gonna get use out of it, and I just think stuff like this is really good and helpful, because when I can't be down here to play, it's nice to. Oh crap!
You're gonna die.
I'm going into photo mode. No, and I die. So anyhow, that, my friend, PS4.
Nice.
I was rather impressed. I'm really happy with what they're doing. There's so much good stuff on both sides of the. Man, it's such a good time to be a gamer, isn't it?
This has been a great week.
It really has. It really has. And it's gonna get. It's not gonna stop. It's gonna continue to get better and better and better. I mean, we have Uncharted coming. We have Ratchet and Clank coming. We have a Gears beta coming. We've got. I mean, Doom is coming. We've got so much stuff. And that's not even. We haven't even heard more about stuff like Sea of Thieves and Horizon and all this. I mean, man, it's just. I'm so happy.
I feel like usually at this time we kind of have a good idea of the fall lineup, but this is the first time in a long time that I remember just having April and then just rolling into the summer hot. Like normally you have a nice drought after, like, I don't know, February, March sometimes, but this year it's just like since the end of February we've been just getting hit left and right with all these awesome games. And I feel like it's like, is it with Quantum Break? Like, to me, that was where everything is just ramping up, and we're just going until like June.
Yeah, and then because remember, once June rolls around, and we get to E3. I mean, God knows what's coming. I mean, you've got, so on the PS side, you've got Horizon, they swear to God that Last Guardian's coming.
Okay.
I know.
Hope so.
You've got the GT beta is this year, the Gran Turismo open thing, right? That's this year.
Mhm.
On the Xbox side, you've got, you don't have Scalebound anymore. I don't know about Recore, but you got Sea of Thieves. You're gonna have another Forza Horizon. You're gonna have Gears 4.
Got Final Fantasy 15.
You got Final Fantasy 15 that's coming out at September 30th.
Hmm.
Did you guys play the Platinum demo?
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was like more like a tech demo more than anything else. It was very short, but it is the game looks fun. It looks great, and the combat is fun. I got more excited about Final Fantasy 15 when I played Episode Duskai than I did from the Platinum demo, but the Platinum demo was still interesting and fun.
All right. I didn't feel it, but to be fair, I have never been a big Final Fantasy guy.
See,
So,
me neither. Me neither.
Really?
But yeah, I've never really played a Final Fantasy game. At least, definitely not all the way through. I played a little bit here and there of some of them, but I think this is the game that's going to get me into the franchise because to me it seems really interesting. It's going to be really epic. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right. I mean, and again, it may just be that I don't know. Maybe I'll try it again. And to be honest, I didn't have any issues with the technical aspect to it. Like, people were complaining about the frame rate and all that stuff. I'm like, it was a demo. It was it wasn't even supposed to be like a slice of the game, which I did
No.
find weird. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't. Maybe it's just my I don't know. Final Fantasy has never been a big franchise for me.
Hmm.
So maybe I'll have to try it again.
Yeah.
So, Frankie, did you play it?
No, I'm not really a Final Fantasy fan, and like Jen likes Final Fantasy, but she doesn't seem interested, so it's my cue to just continue to.
To not play it. Fair enough. Fair enough.
So I took it as. I was like, oh no, all right. I'm not gonna ask you twice. It's one less game I have to buy.
All right. One more quick thing, and then we can all get ready to go play some gamage. I hesitate to ask about it, but since I do have a replacement Nintendo guy on staff tonight, vendor, I know you had to have seen them. What do you make of these new Twitter rumors that have been flying about Zelda coming out on both the Wii U and the NX?
This is
So,
if you follow the Short Pause Gaming podcast that Frankie and I are on, this is something that Frankie predicted like months and months
When
ago.
Zelda got delayed out of 2015, I was like, you know why?
oh
Yeah.
it's
And at first I was like, no way, that's not gonna happen. But as time has gone on, I'll be like, well, maybe, yeah. And now I'm like, that's almost certainly gonna happen. Yeah, they're gonna pull on Twilight Princess and release it on simultaneously on both platforms. I'm pretty sure of it by now. It just seems like the thing to do. I mean, it's gonna be Wii U's swan song. It's gonna be the NX's launch title, and I'll buy it on NX because it'll be the better version probably. But yeah, I'm a believer now.
Well, and it started out with just this Emily Rogers person, but then somebody from Nintendo World, Neil Ronigan, he said the same thing. He said, expect to hear some stuff about Zelda Wii U soon. He said, heard a lot of similar stuff from multiple sources. So apparently, either they're getting trolled hard, or because Nintendo is not the most open company either when it comes to this stuff.
Mhm.
So somebody has either leaked out stuff they shouldn't have, or somebody's getting trolled very hard. I wonder if it's wonder if that source is Allison Rapp.
Channel
Dun,
listen
dun,
to this
dun.
Pause Gaming podcast.
So, what do you think, Frank? You guys talked about it on your podcast. What do you think? Think it's coming?
Yeah, like I said, back when they delayed it until we don't even know when, it's like, oh yeah, yep, they're gonna do this again. Everyone thought I was crazy. Starting to make more sense though, right? I mean,
Yeah.
look at what we know that's coming to the Wii U for the rest of the year. There's like Terraria and Sonic and Mario Sports,
Olympic Games and
whatever.
Paper Mario.
Oh yeah, and Paper Mario, yeah. The
Paper
Paper Mario
Mario.
that should have came out last year, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be the last good game on Wii U, I'm sure.
And
Until
Zelda.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't look like it's going to be Star Fox at this point. I've been reading.
Oh.
Yeah, what are they doing? What?
Breaking my heart.
Yeah, can somebody explain that to me? Because Star Fox. See, so a little history on my Nintendo-isms is that most people who know me or have listened to the podcast know that I am a big Sega guy, big Shenmue Sega guy, and back when I was young and stupid, fought those console wars
When they mattered.
when it mattered, right? But Sean, before before the Next Level Gaming, we were friends before that. I've been friends with him for like 25 years. And he got me to play a Nintendo 64. And I played Super Mario 64, the very first game that I ever really touched or owned as a Nintendo product. And when I got done playing that and got all 100 stars because I was so hooked on that damn game, I was like, what am I doing? Why have I been fighting this for so long? And then I got my hands on stuff like Wave Race 64, and then Star Fox came along, and I'm like, damn, what have I been missing? This whole time, my entire life has been a sham. And so I got into Nintendo. As much as I love, still always have a spot in my heart for Sega. That will never go away. Dreamcast remains one of my favorite systems of all time. Still, to me, remains one of the greatest console launches, game-wise, of any launch. But I had a newfound love and respect for Nintendo products. And Star Fox was one of those games that helped do it. And to look at what I think Star Fox is going to be, Star Fox Zero, no thank you.
Seems to be the general consensus.
I don't understand.
I want to play it, but I'm not super hopeful it's going to be awesome or anything. But I do want to check it out at least. I'm leery about it, but I'm not totally down on it.
Platinum Games had a hand in it, right? So I mean,
Yeah.
Yes.
it can't be terrible.
No, it can't.
But it just looks like it's probably terrible. And it makes me sad.
It looks like Star Fox 64.5.
And that's that's kind of the thing. I mean, we're gonna find out. It's coming out the 22nd.
You know what's weird to me about that game is Nintendo's embargoes are usually really generous. Like, Yoshi's Woolly World, the embargo was up like a month before the game came out. Like, a lot of these games have embargoes that are up well before release. I don't think Star Fox Zero's embargo's up yet. Like, it's probably like noon the day the game comes out. By the way, we forgot to send review copies.
Oh, man. I'm going to have to ask Sean what he thinks of this next week. Oh, my gosh. It almost... The crazy part is that graphically it doesn't look that impressive to me. It doesn't look like I thought it would.
Mm-hmm.
It almost looks like an enhanced version of an old Sega CD game I used to love called Sylphid. And I don't know if maybe I'm just, I don't know, I don't know what it is. That would be one I would just say, you know what,
Oh my
we'll
god.
bring it out now, and then we'll remaster it for the NX and make it better.
That game had a great soundtrack.
Sylphid?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh, yes. So many Sega CD games had great soundtracks. That's one of the
That's a
great.
fact. Batman.
Yes,
That's
Batman
Bat.
Returns.
Yes, love that soundtrack.
Well, that was Spencer Nilsson. That was
Uh, I
Spencer.
know. I know too. We talked about Terminator.
Yes, which was Tommy Tallarico.
Yeah.
Tommy, I gotta. He's still touring with his video games live. Um, every once in a while, I'll send him a tweet and he'll respond. So I feel like I'm breaking him down so I can get him on the podcast to talk to him. I want to talk to that man. I have admired his game to date. There's still no soundtrack to me that he's done like Earthworm Jim. Oh my gosh, the stuff that I'm not kidding. The stuff that he's done. And so I'm slowly working him. I'm slowly working him down, and then the courage to say, "Hey, what are you doing on a Friday night at 10?"
There you go. Make sure he's in town. Just do it live at your place.
Yeah, yeah, and
Sit him down to play Earthworm Jim.
Right. I will show you some Earthworm Jim, and then you can come and sit on camera with me.
There you go.
And then I can die, because then that will have erased
that's
my
it.
bucket list.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be great. I mean,
Oh,
not the dying part, but to sit down and play games with him and talk to him, man. That'd be cool.
I've tried to track down Spencer Nielsen too. He has disappeared.
That sucks.
That does. The stuff that he did. Because remember, it wasn't just Batman. It was the Sonic CD soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
Sonic Boom.
Classic.
The stuff that he wrote for the U.S. release was just like I ripped that stuff and keep it on my hard drive because I just like to listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
My ringtone for my cell phone used to be a track off of Bug 2 from the Sega Saturn. There was another game called Jaguar XJ220. It was made by JVC. And it was sort of like, it had the sound, it was like a point-to-point racing game, kind of like, not quite like Outrun, but it was okay. It was a decent game, but the soundtrack reminded me a whole lot of Outrun, and some of the stuff that they did, a lot of piano tracks and stuff. Music was so great back then.
We get some good stuff every now and then now.
Now and again, but I mean that was the golden age to me. It was just such good stuff. But I digress because I'm old. You know, now I feel old. So,
you know what else has a really great soundtrack? Blues and Bullets.
Beautiful segue, my friend. Beautiful segue. So you have already played it. Please tell everybody what has come out.
So, and this is disappointing to me, okay? Because last August there was this game that casually came out on Xbox. It was on PC prior, but it's called Blues and Bullets. If it doesn't sound familiar, basically it's an alternate reality of Elliot Ness and Al Capone, stylized like Sin City, where it's black and white with the red accents.
Yep.
And it's fantastic. So you basically have a retired Elliot Ness, and he's helping out Al Capone, because who would have thought, just craziness. Yeah. And just very, very engaging story. The art style is incredible, and just the production values in that game for it being an indie game, just superb.
It was $5.
$5. There's no season pass. They're just selling them each episode's releasing for $5, which, if you're somebody who buys season passes, you'd probably be upset that it's been about 8 months now that episode 2 is suddenly here. Which, who the hell knew? No one said anything.
Yeah, it's out.
Where the hell is everybody? Like, why are none of the big sites reporting this? Like, this game is really cool. Why aren't we talking about it?
And it's a short game. I mean, it only takes about
was about a good 3 hours to get through this
Yeah.
episode.
But man, to do it.
Hmm.
In episode 2, I hope you start to figure out what some of the red is, because there's got to be a point to the red. So just to show everybody, here is some of what we saw in episode 1. I mean, the graphics were really impressive for a $5 game.
Hmm.
I don't, you made choices based upon what you wanted to talk, with conversations and things like that. But everything had kind of this red accent, like you were just saying. And at some point, they've got to explain what the red is for. It's got to be for something.
Hmm.
But everything is black and white with these red accents. And you're right, man. It's just it was a great game. It had a little bit of gunplay to it. It had some great sleuthing.
Hmm.
And you know what? Looking at it, I mean, where is? I don't even see part. Yeah, it does. But I don't even see part 2. Actually, even on their site. But the guy said that episode 2 is out.
Yeah, and I can confirm it's out. I played it.
Yeah, you did. How is episode 2?
Episode 1. Just to give you a contrast here, episode 1 very much focused on more like detective work. You investigating crime scenes, piecing things together, and kind of building the story. Episode 2, after it gives you a nice recap of all the stuff that's happened since it's been a while, is more action focused. A lot more shootouts, but they're not drawn out. Like there's a lot of shootouts, but they're paced out fairly well. You also go to a lot more different locations, and he has these nightmare scenes that kind of play out like a Devil May Cry type of scene. You got words popping up everywhere, all this crazy stuff going on.
Oh, like the first one had that.
Yeah, this one has that too, and this one is eerie. It's just really unsettling. And when you play it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But
Nice.
I couldn't put it down. Once I saw it was out, I leapt out of bed. I was like, I'm playing this today. I know what I'm doing now.
All right, well, that is going to be my post-quantum break game.
Yeah, or if you just need a break, you know, because you're going to.
And you know what? This is one of those where, you guys have a review of it on shortpause.com. We have a review of it on the NL Gaming channel. And to be quite honest, for full disclosure, they provided NLG a review code, which is how we got our first code. Mm-hmm. I'm actually going to buy this because I want to support them. I want them to know that their first game was so good for me that I want to monetarily support them, and I'll still do the review on episode 2, but I'm gonna buy it for $5. It's something that even if you don't like it, you can. It's $5. I mean, you pay more for that. You pay more for five. Let me try this again in English. You pay more for a friggin' McDonald's meal than you pay for that game.
The game will satisfy you a lot more.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah, see, now that you have an Xbox, Bender, you can catch up.
Yes, actually, Bender,
Guess so.
You should really look into this game. I really think you'd like this one.
Oh, yeah?
You said earlier with Quantum Break, you're story-driven, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like story
you'll
stuff.
like this. And you'll like the story because it's as Frankie just said, it's a great alternate universe, post the Untouchables.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, because Al Capone's in it, Al Capone does not die in prison. And there's this whole, I don't give it away, but there's a whole story that links you and Al Capone together, Elliot Ness and Al Capone, in a way that you would never imagine.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, it's enthralling. So check out Frankie's review.
Yeah. I'm actually writing up the review now. I finished it earlier, and I started the review, so I'm gonna hopefully get that out Monday or something. But man, that was great. That was just like the perfect ending to this week was, hey, by the way, Blues and Bullets episode 2 is out. And I was like, oh yes. I'm just really upset that Apparently, no one's talking about that, and that really sucks because that game is fantastic.
That does. So I'm gonna work to also get something up because that and we actually talked to the developer today, you and and
Mhm.
I mean I felt bad because he said we sent the press release out and nobody covered it, and it's ridiculous because it's a game worth playing.
hmm
There are very
It deserves the attention. It really does.
Yeah, I've bought a few $5 games that have been very good and very worth it, and Blues and Bullets is one of them.
hmm
Yeah. So if you're listening to this podcast and you haven't seen Blues or Bullets episode 1, I highly recommend it, as Frankie does too. And both of us have reviews that you could check out. I don't even think you'd have to do just get the game and try it. I think you'll love it.
There's a bundle on Xbox. I think it's $9.98. You'll get the first 2 episodes. So.
It's worth it. It's so worth it.
hmm
And I mean, I like games like that kind of enthrall me. I don't know if you guys have played it, just on a little small tangent, because it was free games with gold. I think it was last month. Sherlock Holmes: Crimes and Punishment.
No, I picked that up, but I never actually got a chance to get into it though.
I like it. It's
yeah?
it actually. I'm actually impressed with the quality of the game overall. It's not. It's a lot more in depth than Blues and Bullets. And there's multiple cases to solve, but it's not quite L.A. Noire deep. Like that was extremely deep, but it's on its own level of depth, and just playing it for about 3 hours, maybe 3.5 hours, quite enjoyable. So if you guys have it, give it a run. I think you'll like it more than you might think.
Okay.
And I like Sherlock Holmes. I'm a fan of Sherlock Holmes in all of its forms, whether it's Robert Downey Jr. or I tell you what the heck's his first name? Cumberbatch.
Benedict
Cumberbatch. I enjoyed that show more than I thought I would too, because I'm not the biggest Benedict Cumberbatch fan, and I don't see him as Doctor Strange, by the way, but I don't know why, but Sherlock is really good, and it's got Morgan Freeman
Martin Freeman.
Martin Freeman in it, right? Who honestly I enjoyed more in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy than I did The Hobbit.
I love Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
It was a funny movie. I enjoyed it. And so so he's in that as Watson, and I thought I actually enjoyed it. And unfortunately, each episode's an hour and a half. But
yeah, I've seen the first couple of episodes, but I just haven't been able to watch the rest of it because it's like I'm watching a movie.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Netflix, I think Netflix has it. And
boy.
You haven't seen it yet, Frankie?
No.
Oh man,
it's really good.
Find the time.
It really is. Tell me if you agree, Bender. He's kind of a nut job in this show.
Yeah.
Much more than much more than he's portrayed in anything else. Like I know there were scenes in Sherlock Holmes where Robert Downey Jr. was a little nuts, but Sherlock is always nuts.
Yeah. And he's super arrogant.
Yeah.
In a funny way, though.
In a great way.
Yeah.
By the way, speaking of Sherlock Holmes and Robert Downey Jr., this is these 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon shot. You know who Paul Serene is, right? You know who that character is?
That character? No.
Okay, well, the actor. I'm sorry, the actor.
The actor?
Yeah.
I recognize him. I just don't know what I've seen him in.
Did you see the first Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey Jr.?
Yes. Oh, was he?
Rathbone. He was the bad guy.
Oh, okay.
He was Rathbone.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
Yes. I looked at it when I was watching the Act 2 start, and him and the other guy are walking along, and he made a facial expression in the game, and I said, wait a minute, I know who this guy is. And then I looked him up, and sure enough, that's who he is. It's Rathbone from the first Sherlock Holmes.
Holy crap!
I have to go back and watch that movie again now.
I knew he was in Game of Thrones. Like, I know that character, but like seeing him in there, I was like, he was somewhere else, and I can't. Oh my god! Right? Holy crap! I love that movie.
Yes. So there you go. So 6 Degrees of Aidan Gillian. So, all right, man, we've covered that and more. Is there anything else that you guys have that you want to talk about before we wrap this up?
Can't think of anything.
Yeah, I think we've covered everything. Ben?
Yeah. No, I'm good. It's been a fun show. Thanks for having me on.
Oh my God, it's been great. And I have to ask, so you are a musician?
I am. Yeah, I play guitar, bass, and drums.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
You're at 3/4 of a band, all on your own.
Yeah, I try to record a little bit here and there, but I just haven't had the time. I've been meaning to get on and like start recording because I've written some songs. I've been meaning to like start recording some songs and getting them online and stuff. So I'll be working on that, and I'll probably tweet out when I get some of my music out there for people. So
that's great.
Follow me at Bender_guitar on Twitter, and stay tuned for that. So hopefully before too long I'll be able to get some of my music out there.
We've used a couple of his songs on the Short Pause podcast too for our break music.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I wrote a song about the Legend of Zelda, a tribute song for the Legend of Zelda. So I forget which episode it was in. So you can find that if you go back in our feed, listen to the episodes. You should find it. It's been on there at least twice on our show. So,
I know one of them Brent wasn't there. So if you find one of them that doesn't have Brent, it was like the first or second one that Brent wasn't there, but we were there.
Nice.
So I remember we used it for that. And then there was also a Destiny one that was great.
Yeah. I wrote a song, a Destiny tribute song, basically about the loot chase, the loot grind in that game.
Nice. Maddie says, write an intro song for the NLG podcast.
There you go.
That was a pretty good intro song that you already have now.
That was great.
Thanks. Little half AC/DC without the copyright protection.
There you go.
So, all right. Well, tell us a little bit about the Short Pause podcast and website, since you guys were kind enough to come on and be with me tonight, which I really appreciate. So, give us a rundown on Short Pause.
There's 4 of us. There's Brent Felsing, Ben Boyce, myself, Ben Holt, which they call me Bender, then Frankie Ayler, aka Viper Strike.
I've been calling you that all night.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Yeah, I go by Bender. But yeah, you can go to www.shortpause.com and check out our articles. We write reviews, and we cover games as best we can with just the 4 of us. And we have a podcast every week, the Short Pause Gaming Podcast. You can find it on iTunes and SoundCloud and TuneIn Radio, I believe. And
I'm gonna have you do the outro from now on. every time like Brent does it, every time I've had to do it, I always wait. Is there anything else? Is that it? Is that everything?
Yeah. And if you do listen to the show, you make sure you email us at podcast@shortpause.com so you can give us your feedback and ask us questions, and we try to cover them on the show if we can. We try to take suggestions from fans if it fits in with our vision for the show. So definitely let us know. Hit us up on Twitter at @theshortpause. And I think that's it. Frankie, anything else that you wanted to touch on?
No. Well, obviously we're gonna try and get together for a Battleborn stream with you.
Yeah, that's gonna be great. We did this great. It was you and me and
Brent was there.
The dude?
Yeah. And then I think we met. I met Natty and Regime. So.
Yep.
That was a fun time.
Yeah, that was, and we did a cross stream where you guys did it from your vantage point. We did it from ours. It worked out great. I'm all about doing that again. And you guys have a really good podcast and a really good site. I do enjoy listening to you guys a lot, and you bring some great stuff to the table. And it's one of the reasons that I really enjoy Frankie. This is the second time he's been on my podcast, and Bender, you're welcome back anytime. I really,
Thank you.
Yeah, I've enjoyed this, and I appreciate you guys, coming and being on, and it's good stuff. It's good stuff to just be able to talk about games and to enjoy the night. I mean, it's already 12:26 Eastern Standard Time. We've really gone 2 hours and not felt like it. So, so once again to our awesome chat room. It's great. Just like I said, I haven't been able to participate as much because I'm trying to run some stuff in the background, and but being able to read through it and watch people just talk games and enjoy themselves and have a place to go where they don't feel like they have to be in the middle of some sort of bizarre missile strike from one side of the gaming console war to the other. We kind of we're not the dark zone of gaming. We're trying. I mean, we try to have a safe place for people that just want to have some good game chat, meet some people, listen to us ramble for a couple hours about the stuff we're doing, and have some fun. And so I really appreciate not just you guys, but the guys in the chat room and all of our subscribers and such. So the rundown on the normal stuff: like and subscribe our channel. Make sure you check out the Short Pause podcast at shortpause.com. I do have that description, that link down in our description. So make sure you give them some love too, and follow us on Twitter at OG_NL Gaming. You can follow that for pretty much official news that pretty much tweets out all the stuff that you'll find in the media that you don't want to look at. And then you can follow me directly at Stinger NLG and my witty banner. We have a Twitch page as well. That is also OG_NL Gaming. I have been trying to do a hard walkthrough of Quantum Break, and I use the word trying very, very literally. I will have part 2 of that, Act 2 of that up. I'm hoping Sunday or Monday as I continue on. I'm probably going to hit that when we're done. And I think that is it. Gentlemen, once again, thank you so much. You guys are great people. I consider you friends, and you're welcome on anytime.
Well, thank you very much.
So,
I love coming on here. I want to get on here with John one time. That'd be fun. Hey guys.
Yeah, I don't know where he's disappeared. So, one day I'd love to have him back as a guest. Enrique comes on as a guest a lot, and he's been, he's an alum, and Ben, I want to get you on with Sean because you and him could just Nintendo all night.
Definitely.
Especially when we get, I'll tell you what, when we get some definitive NX news, I think the round table I want to have would be you guys, him, and Doc Cupcake, Jeff Bartram, because he's a Nintendo. He likes his Wii U as well. And I know he's been waiting for some stuff. So it'll be one hell of a podcast, that's for sure.
Sounds fun.
All right, everybody, we're going to go off and play some games. To all of our folks in the chat room, to all of the people who are going to be listening later, once again, like, subscribe, comment below. And as we always say, everybody have a wonderful weekend. Have a gaming weekend. Have a great week. We'll see you next Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the original Next Level Gaming podcast. I am Mike Mullis, a.k.a. Stinger NLG, and play on, gamers.